In this video, we're going to mess with Cycles Render and Second Life. You've probably seen a lot of the tutorials on Blender where they discuss cycles, and really, in fact, took me a while to figure out what was going on also. And what relevance do they have with Second Life? All right, so we're going to make a tunnel, and we're going to try and show you how what the relevance of cycles render is when it comes to Second Life. So our tunnel, we want it to be 5 meters tall. So we'll scale it up to 5 from the guy, and we want it to be 10 meters wide. So SX2, 10 meters wide. Now we want to cut some windows in it so we can have some fun with the lights. So let's turn off the length thing. Well, yeah, we can leave that on. Might want to see how big our windows are. All right, so we're going to do cut a loop here. And I want to make this guy, we'll make it 2 meters from the end. And make the window 1 meter wide. There we go. Now let's put a couple more in here. That's funny. Usually it snaps right to the right amount. Close enough. Okay. Again, another one, we'll try and make them consistent here. Make it 1 meter wide. And one more. Bear with me here, we're getting there quickly. Okay, 1 meter wide. All right, now we need to cut it vertically for our windows. So we're going to do 2 loop cuts there. How tall should we make it? We should make it, put it right in the middle of the room and do an SZ. And we'll make it 2 meters tall. There it is. And we'll raise it up off the floor a little bit. Fine. All right, I think we're done with the length there. Yep. All right, now since this is going to be a Second Life object, we need it solidified because it's going to be a tunnel. So we go into object mode and go into our modifiers. Modifiers, do an add modify and do a solidify. And we'll call it 25 centimeters thick. It's pretty arbitrary. And we'll do an apply. Now we need to go back into edit mode and fix up our windows and fix up our end plates. So we'll go into face mode and select that face, that face, that face, that one, that one, and 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 delete them. Now, since it's solidified, we have several more faces to do. All right, we get the right ones. Yes, we did. All right, let's get rid of those faces. Okay, now we have our tunnel. Now we have to fix the gaps, the holes that we made in it. I'm going to go into wireframe mode and vertice mode. Box select those. SX0 cleans that up. Box select that one. SX0 cleans that one up. W loop tools bridge. So that creates faces on that guy. Let's go back and get that one. Loop tools bridge. Okay. Now we need to fix the holes in our side of our tunnel here. So let's pick that loop and do a W loop tools bridge. That loop, W bridge. Come on. Okay, Shift Alt. That loop, W bridge. Z back to solid. How are we looking here? We got it. All our holes are filled. Our object looks pretty good. Select everything, Control N to make sure the normals are good. I'm going to push this up to so it's on the floor. G, Z. Yep. Okay, it's on the floor. All right, how are we looking so far? Here's our object. And, yep, looks fine. We need some lights now, and we need some color. Right. Let's go over to object mode. Let's do a set origin. Whoops. Shift C, Control Shift, oops. Yeah, Shift C to center the 3D cursor and do a set origin to 3D cursor. Control A to set rotation scale, Control A, rotation scale and location, so we get all those things cleaned up. All right, standard modeling stuff, nothing special here. Now let's do a split screen and we'll work on, we need some lighting for cycles. So we're going to go through and split the screen up, and on the bottom we're going to see what our rendered image looks like, and in the top we're going to deal with the lighting issues. So I've selected the light, the default light that you get, and we go over to the light settings and change it to a sun. Click use nodes, and then we'll change the color a tiny little bit to make it a little bit yellowish. And we need some strength here. We need a strong sun, and we're going to make it essentially a point size. The reason for that is so that we can get a better appreciation of the shadows. If you make you should know the size of the illumination, the bigger it is, the more diffuse the shadows are. The sun is kind of a weird object in Blender in that it doesn't really matter where it is. It's all about the angle that it's pointing. So let's see here. Let's rotate this guy a little bit so that it's up against the wall. How's that? Looks good. Okay. So as you can see, for instance, I'll give you a demonstration here. I'm going to move the sun, and you notice that the rendered image doesn't change since I'm not changing the rotation angle of the sun. But if I change the rotation of the sun, there I'm in top view, I can change the shadows significantly. I think we're going to leave it about like that. Now we're going to do is we're going to mess with now that we've got our lighting done, we need to come up with some materials. So we're going to split this screen in half, and we're going to go to UV editing, and in the bottom here we need to go back into edit mode. Sometimes it seems to really need to be in solid. Okay, so we want to make sure we have everything selected. Let's pick lock camera to view. Where's that at? There we go, so that we can mess with our camera and get it nicely centered. And I want to, for some reason, he doesn't seem to, this doesn't stick there. See, it already said PAL 4:3. I want it just basically square for the camera view. And then we're going to scale the object up a little bit, or move the camera a little bit, so that we get the object pretty much fill the camera view. And the reason for that is when we go to unwrap it, which is next, we want the unwrapped image to fill our area completely so that we get the maximum amount of detail. Alright, so got everything selected. Now we're going to do a smart UV project instead of a typical unwrap. This is nice because we don't have to do the mark seams. Okay, so there's our object, the unwrapped object. And we need to put that on a texture, on a file. So we're going to create a file. And we chose that. Strange how that always jumps in size like that. But anyhow, okay, so there's our view that we're going to see, the image. There's our unwrapped texture. Now comes the magic part. We're going to go over to the node editor. And we're going to type new. I discovered this new set of tools here. I'll put a link to them hopefully in the comments on this tool. Okay, so now we have the texture color defined and an output. Let's see what it looks like. There it is. All right, that's what it looks like. We're almost there. Okay, so we need to do a trick now. That is texture, image texture in here. I'll make that bigger so you can see it. And there we pick the file that we created over here on the right. the image texture. Now this is the trick that in order to create a baked copy of this scene, you don't need an output from that guy, but it has to be selected. Alright, so we're going to go to object mode here. We'll stand there in that mode. Alright, now we go over to our render settings. One of the things that I want you to do is go into the scene and turn on denoising. Your output from your renders and your bakes is going to be much better. I believe that's only available on 2.79 and up. Right, back to the render settings. Don't need that. Samples. I'm picking a default, I guess it is. 128. Go down here to bake. Do a bake combined, and we're starting to bake the texture bake. If you mess up the arrangement where you've got the image texture is not selected properly, you're going to get an error immediately. It's going to talk about it can't find the UV texture to bake or something to that. Okay. Right. Now we're almost there, so we need to go through and get into object mode. Let's pick our cube or tunnel, and we're going to export it as a collada. Pick collada, and we're going to take, whoops, that's not where I wanted. Let's go back here. I want to put it under documents. Hello. Blender tunnel. There we go. Tunnel. In fact, just in case we want to do a save as, we'll do a tunnel. Documents. Wow, there it is. Save as tunnel. Okay, so we've got the export the collada file so we can import something into Secondlife. Now we need to save the image, so we're going to save as image. Same place. Yep. Didn't seem to have a digit on that one, but that's okay. Save as image. Alright. Here comes the piece de resistance. We'll go over to Secondlife. I'm in the beta grid. Do an upload model. Tunnel. Open. Alright, do we have it? Choose one. We'll call it a building component. Not sure what the point of that thing is, and we're going to need to pick a level of detail because we're going to want to walk into this thing. Is that about right? No, that doesn't look right. Okay, yeah, it does too. It's okay. The holes are there. Yep, it's there. All right. We'll try a medium and see what happens. So upload options. We don't need any of those. Level of detail. We don't need any of that. Calculate the weights and fees. 12. Do the upload. Recent objects. Huh. All this stuff is recent. I guess I haven't done much in this version. All right. Drop it on the ground. Okay, here's our tunnel. That doesn't look like the right one. Do we have more than one tunnel? Alright, you're making me weird here. Object mode, file, export, collada, tunnel 00. Is that the one I used? Upload, model, tunnel 00. At 1301. Yep, that looks like the right one. Why did it come up with the name? Oh, sorry. It didn't get called tunnel, it got called cube because we didn't change the name. That's my bad. Alright. Res that guy. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, here's our tunnel. And since I put in the physics parameters, we need to go in and mess with the physics a little bit. So we edit that guy, change the features, and change that from convex hull to prim. Now we should be able to walk into it. Yes, we can. And it has walls and stuff, so you can't get through them. Right. Now, cross my fingers. I'm going to do an upload of the texture. What we've been messing with the whole project. We want to go through and let's find that guy in documents. Blender. Here, Blender, documents. Whoops, I'm sorry, not downloads. Documents. Documents, there, we're getting there. Blender, tunnel PNG. Oops, I hit cancel again. Upload, open, there we go. All right, there's our texture. And there's my tunnel. Most recent one, just drop that guy on there. And poof, done. All right. So what we should do, I guess, is let's change this setting a little bit to show you the results of those textures a little better. Raise it up off the ground. There we go. Right. That looks weird from that end, but from this end, okay. There we go. So you get the shadows, all the fine looking shadows and everything that you had when you go back to Blender. If we change our image here, as you can see, it's dark there in the corner. Right. I hope you learned a little bit about it. Hopefully I'll get around to making another video to talk about the physics and uploading and whatnot. But so what did we do? We just did a simple model. We created a tunnel, and then we used Cycles Blender and a unwrap, and the bake. And again, I've had a lot of trouble with that baking. You have to be very careful to be sure to go over and just have that image texture selected, and then when you do the bake, right? So let me see. Let's back up a little bit here. So when you're in edit mode, and you go to solid here and make sure you have everything selected. You do the smart UV project, put that guy up there, create the new file with the thing in it. Then you need to go in and, create an image texture, make sure it's selected, pick the tunnel or the object that you want, and do your bake. So good luck, have fun.